and welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website cpluscomedy.com, and its 13th year. Happy birthday, C Plus Comedy. Oh, man. Whew, I didn't know what I was going to say. It's been a long day. Happy 13th birthday, C Plus Comedy. It was Wednesday. Technically, last Saturday, I made the website, but I think I launched it on the 11th. What's it? Friday the 14th. 12th, on the 12th, whatever. Anyway, I was supposed to have an interview that day. That did not happen. And not by my own mistake. It wasn't my fault. The person forgot, and then we tried to set something else up. Or at least I did. It didn't happen. Anyway, it's been a long day. It's been a very long day. Before I get to what I want to talk about with C Plus Comedy at 13, this morning I went to go buy a new couch. If you're watching the video, you see that there's a new, shorter, smaller couch in the living room. The short of it is I wanted to do everything I need to do in 75 minutes so I could return that Home Depot truck without consequence. And it took me 3.5 hours. I got there, picked up the truck, took it to the apartment complex in Midtown where I was picking up the couch. And then I picked up an ottoman as well. Got back home, moved the old couch and the old chair. There's a chair directly off to the side of there too. It was the same material, and I moved them downstairs by myself on my own dolly. I do have a dolly. It's a small dolly, but I moved everything by myself. Moved in a truck, and then I was going to take it to Goodwill, and by golly, by George. The Goodwill here in Midtown Atlanta, they're like, that's too big. And then I almost lost my shit. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do with it? Take it to the other one that's in West Midtown. I didn't want to do that, but I ended up doing that. We're not taking furniture right now. Oh, it's got stains on it. We wouldn't take that anyway. You have to leave. And he just kept telling me that. He was like, so then where am I supposed to go? Where do I go? I don't know. You will do. It was the whole thing. And then I lost my shit. I wish I could say I stayed cool, but I lost my shit. I got very classless very immediately. So fast. I hop back in the truck. And then I drove around for a very long time. Just like, the dumps were too far. And then I was like, okay, what if I can't, and there are bulk trash pickups here in Atlanta, but the problem is I live in an apartment complex, and these motherfuckers, the city does not come and pick up an apartment complex. And so I called the leasing office, and I go, can I just place it by the dumpster? And I promise I'll call bulk collection, and they can come pick up in a couple of weeks. And they're like, no, people always dump their stuff there, and when we have to, whenever that happens, when people are moving, they always dump their stuff there, and then we have to remove it, and that costs us $500. And I was just like, my rent is now $23.70. I don't give a flying fuck. It was so much. I don't want to say what time I got back home, but I was supposed to get everything done by 9:30 or 10 by 10, so I could at least go to Trader Joe's, and then I went to Trader Joe's at like noon. Which is not. I hate being around people. If I could walk in there at 9:01, I was just moving through the store. I was like, guys, get out of my way. I actually ran into a couple of people I know, and then I sat down on this couch, and it's too small. I sat down and I immediately went, this shit is too small. It's so small. And then I laid down on it, and it is barely bigger than I am. like inches on both sides. And then it's just like so skinny. Oh my god. I'm flabbergasted. I'm so angry. And I was overcharged for this couch. It was the girl charged me $100. I should have been like, I'll give you 80. I'll give you 50. This thing is so damn light. So now I have to figure out how to get a new couch. I'm looking for something with a Chase lounge on it. With a Chase thing on it. Oh my god. I'm so tired. I am so drained. And I wanted to go to the pool. Sometimes during the workday, I go to the pool for like 30 minutes. And like max 30 minutes. All I do, like I run down there. I get my phone and a towel and a water. And then I get in the pool and I stand. And I play crossword, New York Times crossword, a spelling bee, or Wordle on my phone. More lately, I've just been planning my workout. And that takes like 10 minutes of that. I'm just like boom, 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 planning tomorrow's workout. And I'll just stand on the side, head on the thing. Ants walking around me. So fucking pissed. I was so mad this morning. And then by the time I was like, I caught up on work, I had lunch, and I treated myself to a protein smoothie from a protein smoothie place. I just said, just spend the money. You already spent $120 this morning on renting that damn truck. Oh, and then I called my mom and I was just like, I'm buying a truck. I can't do this anymore. I just paid off the car, my personal car. I was like, I can't. I'm not renting anymore. Just so mad. Anyway, that's that. Okay, what else happened? Last Friday, I sat down. I turned off the computer. I think I recorded Constitutionals before that. Anyway, I turned off the computer. I had dinner. And then I wanted to watch La La Land. I know I said I was going to do that. And I never did. I never watched La La Land this week. And maybe I'll do it tonight. But I sat down and I turned on Netflix. And I saw this movie, The Last House. I did not watch a trailer for it. I did see that the beautiful Greta Lee was starring in it. And I saw Wagner Moura. And I went, I think I'm going to watch this movie. So I put it on without knowing a thing about it. I really love going into a movie not knowing a thing about it. That's what I did when I saw Super Troopers 3. I never watched a trailer for it. Anyway, I put the movie on, and if you don't know what it's about, it's this families in this neighborhood are all trapped inside by an unexplainable force. And that's pretty much the movie. So I put this movie on, and I'm watching, and I'm a little hesitant on it. Then the supernatural stuff starts, and all I'm thinking is, as the TV producer I am, is this movie didn't cost that much. They had this set. They were on a lot, obviously, because there's other houses. The end. This movie is so cheap. I will say, I like the premise. Louis Leterrier from Fast and Furious fame is everybody's logging off early. It's 5:56. And yeah, I did close my goddamn laptop. I'm tired. But Louis Leterrier from Fast and Furious fame directed the movie. The movie was also written by Matthew Robinson. And when I say Fast and Furious fame, I mean he did Fast X, and this is his next movie, and then Fast 11, I believe, will be the movie after that. Louis Leterrier also did The Transporter. And I'm curious to see the first two Transporter movies. I think there's been more than two. The Transporter film series, there's been 4, but Ed Skrein is the guy in the 4th one. It was called The Transporter Refueled? What the fudge? Ray Stevenson's in it. Whew. All right, we're done. That's a movie I would skip on the watch. He also did the 2008 Incredible Hulk, and I did like that movie. He also did Clash of the Titans. I did not like that movie. Now You See Me, I enjoyed that movie. Grimsby, I think I watched 20 or 30 minutes of the movie and turned it off. Oh, he didn't do Now You See Me, or Now You See Me 2, and then he also did not do Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Was he the producer on those at least? I would assume as much. Let's see, franchise. This has to be so riveting. There's going to be a fourth one? Oh my God. No, he was not the producer on those. Interesting. John M. Chu directed Now You See Me 2? Why is there going to be a fourth one? I haven't even seen the third one. Don't spoil it. And then Matthew Robinson wrote The Last House. He also wrote Monster Trucks, which was a movie that I think did extremely well. That kid movie about the trucks that were actually monsters. Oh, he also did The Invention of Lying. So we know he's an atheist. Oh, he also wrote Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. I enjoyed that movie. I really did. Oh, and Love and Monsters. Okay. And Dora and the Lost City of Gold. I interviewed years ago. Who's the boy? What's his name? No. I'm scrolling. Nicholas Combs. Yeah, I interviewed that guy. What's he up to? Does not have a Wikipedia page. I remember him. I believe he's Australian. Yeah. And their fires were going on at the time. His Wikipedia is full of stuff. His Wikipedia is full of stuff. Anyway. The Last House is very interesting in its concept. They're trapped inside. They can't go anywhere. They treat it as a vacation for a little bit. And then as time moves forward, they're stuck inside for months. And it was fascinating to a point. There's a moment where I thought the movie ended because they have Arden Cho from what's it called? K-pop Demon Hunters. They have Arden Cho voicing one of the characters. I'll just say it. She's voicing the daughter. And there was a moment where there was a time jump, and I thought, oh, the movie's done. No, they're halfway through the movie. And it's a huge time jump, enough to a point where they recasted the kids. And I just went, oh my God. And I sat up and I went, what's going on? Oh man. But it was an interesting story. And unfortunately, it was just like, I would say, not fully fledged out. They also killed the dog. And I knew that was coming when they gave the dog a pill at the top of the movie. I was like, oh no. Oh man. Did I like the movie? It's just something that to rewatch it would not be any interest to me. But I think it's fine. And then I watched Reacher, the season 4 premiered on Wednesday. I still have not seen Ted Lasso, because to me that show is over. It shouldn't have come back. Well, first of all, it shouldn't have been. They should have. All right. And again, I have not seen the new season, but when they ended season 3, that they said, Jason Sudeikis was like, I miss my kids. I want to be home with them instead of filming the show, which makes sense. What they should have done was said, hey, we're going to take a break from the show. They didn't have to say it was over. They didn't have to say it was ended or anything. Just say, hey, we're taking a break. Instead of going off on this whole thing of, we're ending the show. I think that would have been a much stronger thing. You just say, hey, we're going to pause it for a little bit. And then there was that whole rumor of them doing another season or a spinoff, and it was everybody else but Ted Lasso himself. Which would have been fine. However, they came back and now they're doing this girls team, women's team rather, and that's fine. But they just it just seems so empty and futile. But you know what? I don't care. I'm at this point right now where I just think I was reading something about the Barbie sequel not being made, and you know how much I dislike Greta Gerwig, and I will definitely say that to her face. But you know how I do not like Greta Gerwig. I could care less about Margot Robbie. Love Ryan Gosling, but the headline with that movie is that it's in trouble of not being made because they're asking for the actors and the directors who made a movie, $1 billion movie for Warner Brothers, are asking for too much money. And the thing is, I agree with them. I don't like Greta Gerwig. I could care less about Margot Robbie. I love Ryan Gosling. Pay them what they deserve. I get it. It's a lot of money, but pay them what they deserve. You know Barbie 2 is going to make $1 billion. Just pay them the money so people can have jobs. It doesn't matter. David Zaslav, outgoing head of Warner Brothers Discovery, sold $217 million worth of stock, something like that. Over $200 million worth of. Let me see the math. David. Oops. I don't know how to spell David. David Zaslav is a piece of shit. Sells stock. Oh, I put too much money on that. If you're watching the video, here it is. He sold 27.1 million in stock sales. That would make sense. That makes a lot more sense. That's from Variety, written by Todd Spangler. 27.1 million. But it's just, who at this point, just make the movie. You need butts in seats. And let me tell you, the end of Oak Street is not going to do that for you. End of Oak Street has, from what I can tell, no people of color in it. It's a movie about dinosaurs coming to modern day or some shit. How are there no people of color in this movie? It's a modern day. Anyway. Reacher season 4 premiered, and I am enjoying it. It's funnier. It's so much funnier. That does not mean you could probably put it in the in the Emmys for comedy, but it's good. I enjoy it. Alan Richton looks fantastic. He's acting really well, and he's really selling the jokes. The woman who is going to be his partner for this season, Sydel Noel, she's from Glow, and the moment I refused to look anything up until I watched episode 2 because I was so entrenched in episode 1. But the moment I saw her, I was like, where do I know her from? She's fantastic. And then they also have Christopher Rodriguez Marquette. He's doing a great job. And Kevin Weissman is also in that cast. And then this beautiful woman named Agnes Moe. Oh, my God. Ugh. I'm dying. There's a moment where, what's his name? Reacher. What's his name? There's a moment where Reacher is at a bowling alley and they're fighting. He's fighting some guys, and he picks up a bowling ball and throws it at a guy's chest. It's in episode 3, and I just went, "Oh my God, that's too much." I liked it though; it was very funny, and I reacted so heavily. It's a great season. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it so far. I like all of Reacher. I couldn't stop thinking when the season premiered about The Simpsons. They had an episode this past season where all the men in The Simpsons were entranced by a show called Puncher. And it's obviously a take on Reacher, and I thought that was a good episode. Anyway. Okay. Let's talk about the video I edited for C Plus Comedy at 13. I don't know where it lives. Okay, I found it, I think. If you should go to the Instagram, I don't know. The Instagram, the TikTok, wherever, the YouTube as well, where you can watch the video itself. But here it is. If you're watching the video, I've brought it up. It's an excellent video. It's a minute long because for social. And buddy, I see you. Go lay down. And it is a compilation of how I say bye to everybody on my on the interviews. And I go watch it on your own time. I'm not going to play it here because you can't hear it. Can you? No. No, that's the microphone audio. Where's the can the audio come through on this? I don't think so. Maybe. Oh, interesting. Audio mixer. Okay, let's see. See, this is something I probably should have done not now, but hey, baby. We do things on the fly. I'm tired. Who cares? Anyway, go watch the video. You'll see all of your favorite people. You see Paige Gallagher, Skylar Higley, Rob Hayes, Troy Walker, Sally Ann Hall. It's just a compilation of all of not all, because I could not fit everybody in. I had to make some tough choices. But this is it's just a clip show of me saying goodbye to people and also giving them compliments. And it's so funny because I made that video last week. I decided I was in bed and and I woke up. I think I was going to sleep it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? My eyes were closed. I was in bed, and then I opened my eyes and I said, "That's a good idea," and I wrote it down. What it is every time I end an interview, if you have watched enough of my interviews, you hear me say, "I don't want to waste your time," or some version of that, and it's very true. I just don't want to waste your time, and I went through all of the videos to see if I say that, and I do say that. And it's so funny. It's like I say name of the person. I don't want to waste your time, and then I move on. Not wasting more of their time. But it's a great video. I went all the way back to the War with Grandpa interviews, Caitlin Pelufo, for Mo Collins and Gary Anthony Williams. I said the exact same thing to them, minus one word. Like, we'll switch around. I think my exact words were, "You're such a great character actor. I love you. This has been fantastic," or "This has been really good," or something like that. Then, of course, I had to include Tiffany Haddish as the anchor because she's like, "You got to go?" Oh, dang. Because she wanted me to take my shirt off. There you go. All right. Go watch that video. It's called "I Don't Want to Waste Your Time" on the YouTube or something along those lines. Oh boy, this episode is about to run long. You know what? I think we're done. It was a good. Here's the thing. I think I love C Plus Comedy, and I'm so grateful that it's lasted for 13 years. Except for there was that time period where I was burned out, and I stopped doing anything for the website. I think with the exception of interviews, but I really enjoyed. Not enjoyed. I'm still going to do everything for C Plus Comedy, unfortunately. But I enjoy everything that I moved the stories that I was going to do to a different pod, to LinkedIn Logs, because they're business stories more or less. But anyway, I enjoy everything I've ever done. Let me read the stats for C Plus Comedy, because if you don't follow the website or the social media, then you don't know the stats. Stats are 220-ish interviews. I'm including the ones that things are separate when I do. Oh God, what are they called? When I interview multiple people at once. What's that called? I truly forgot. I am so tired. What is that called when I interview multiple people at once? And what the fuck? I hate this. This is a bad episode. When I interview like one person from a TV show, and then I go to interview another person from a TV show from that same TV show, and I interview like the creators or whatever. Those are all separate interviews, even though they're in one episode of the interviews or in one episode of the podcast. It doesn't really matter. Who cares? But that's why I said 220-ish interviews. 91 written interviews. I have not done a written interview for a very long time, and I probably will not return to that because I am sick of it. 104-ish videos, probably more. Edited while watching through my fingers. Embarrassed. And then here's some other stats. 3 Conan writers, Skylar Higley, Laurie Kilmartin, and Andre Dubuchet. 2 Daily Show writers, and 1 who became a correspondent. That's Josh Johnson. The other writer was Matt Koff. 1 Jimmy Kimmel Live writer. That's Troy Walker. A former late night host, Craig Ferguson. 2 SNL cast members, Brooks Wheelan and Bobby Moynihan. 8 guys named Matt. Too many to mention right now. 2 character actors who I said I love you to, Mo Collins and Gary Anthony Williams, platonically. At least 5 instances of me openly flirting. You'll have to find that out for yourself. 6 comedy teams, including Sitting on Babies. If you remember, these are the comedy teams were all part of the written interviews. I have not done a lot in a while. Yeah, Sitting on Babies. That's Brooke Jacob and Becky Whitmore. I'm sorry, I'm scrolling down to see. The Undone Sweaters, which includes Danny Tamborelli. I also talked to Jim Tews. This is I remember I was doing the Jim Tews interview, and then I went back to the website and I went, I already talked to Jim Tews. Andrew Short, Reed Flair, Reformed Whores, Katie Frame and Marie Cecile Anderson. I did Keisha Zoller and Andrew Kimmler. I forgot to include that on the count. Anyway. Kevin Heffernan and Steve Lemmy from Broken Lizard. Those are 2 guys. Kurt Brownholer, Lauren Cook. Did I just leave a lot of people off the list? Leah Rudick and Katie Hartman, the Skinny Bitch Jesus Meeting. I remember I talked to them. Menage a Trois Radio, Diana Kolsky and Murph Meyer. And I feel like I'm forgetting some, but okay. Let's see, 11 pre-celebrity interviews. Hey, I am staking claim in some people because I definitely did talk to a lot of people before they were famous, which is great. So you're welcome. Diallo Riddle, Elliot Glazer, Emma Willman. I'm not saying I broke these people, but I definitely did talk to them before they were famous. Janelle James, that's my biggest one. Tiffany Haddish, I almost had her before Girls Trip sent her skyrocketing. Again, I'm not saying I made people famous. I am saying, though, that prior to them becoming famous and big, I spoke to them because I didn't say no. Jermaine Fowler, that was 2015. I remember exactly where I was when I talked to Jermaine Fowler. There was something wrong with my Chevy Volt. It was in the shop, and I was working at 11 Alive News, and I had to rent a car because I lived in the suburbs and I had to drive down here, and all they had was a truck. And also when I was doing this interview, I was sitting in the truck, and the truck. It was hot outside, and I was parked on the street at 11 Alive News here in Atlanta. And I was sitting in that truck, and I was sweating. And it's the same place I interviewed Diallo Riddle. But we were just having a great conversation. I was drenched. Joel Kim Booster. I talked to Josh Gondelman, both of them in 2016. Josh Johnson, before he blew up. I'm sure there's some other people. Let's go back. A few people who aren't in the industry anymore. That's just how it happens. 2 Super Troopers, that's Steve Lemmy and Kevin Heffernan. Dozens of road dog comedians. 1 blue collar comedy guy, Larry the Cable Guy. 11 producers / show creators. 1 complete asshole. I will not say who that is. I made $0, 0 instances of content, and 100% done for fun. I just enjoy this show and every other show I've done, and I promise I'll get back to news time. But as I look through these names, I see Nick Dodani and Rebecca Johnson and the Sklar brothers and Sherry Cola. I was definitely in early on that. That was 2020. It's just I'm always just so thankful. Just look at these names and be like, wow, I've been doing this and it's free. And it's again, it's tough, but I'm very good at it. I love having these conversations. I've never regretted an interview. There's only been 2 that I've not released, mostly because I think I could talk about this. One, they were so incredibly boring. That the person was, and I don't want to. I'm not putting a gender to it. I'm not going to give any hints. I know exactly who it was. They were so incredibly boring. They gave me nothing, and it's the asshole was more interesting. I asked no, because if I get specific with the asshole, the person who was mean, then it's very findable. It's not a video interview, I'll tell you that much. It is a written interview. And then the other interview that didn't come out was that person forgot, but they ended up remembering, and they were also in their car. So they were like, oh yeah, I'm just like at this gas station sitting in my car. And they had their phone on vertical. And it was also just not a good interview. So that both of those interviews are currently sitting, I believe, on the laptop hard drive. Or they might be sitting somewhere else. There's another hard drive. There's like 4 hard drives of C+ comedy stuff, but I think 2 of them are connected or were made on Windows, and 2 of them were made on Mac, so I can't even access everything. But yeah, I mean that's C+ comedy. That's the Constitutionals. The Constitutionals is also on IMDb, which is wonderful. I did not put it there, and I've been trying so desperately to claim it. But it's so funny that podcasts are now on IMDb, but I'm like you can see there's 474 episodes there. This will be the 475th, and they're all out of order. I don't know why IMDb did that, but they're all out of order up to a point. Like there's a point where they're all in order, and then the last like 200 are out of order. But I told some of the people that still that follow me, who I've interviewed, hey, go add yourself to the IMDb. It's just another thing to have. And I don't know what's next for this thing. I mean, obviously, I'm bringing back News Time at some point, and it will be, it'll be very much the same. I was thinking about that this morning. If I brought back News Time, I'm thinking September. I don't know. Who knows? I'm not going to put a label on it. But if I brought back News Time, which, and if you don't know what News Time is, pre Last Week Tonight, pre a closer look on Late Night with Seth Meyers, I was doing essentially long form stories. They're like long form, like 7 minutes about the world of the entertainment news. And that's just so difficult to do. It is very difficult to do. I feel like I cover a lot. But I was thinking, if I brought it back, I would also write a monologue for Late Night Lately. Do I include that monologue in there? No, it's both. They're both separate. And also, one is like they're different. Who knows? Anyway, I love doing this show as much as I lament doing it sometimes. I love doing LinkedIn Logs, same thing, and I love doing Late Night Lately, same thing. It's hard work, but I enjoy it. And would I like to make money from it? Yeah, no shit. But I refuse to do a Patreon. I refuse to do ads because I don't want to. First of all, I just really don't want to. But second, I think that just ruins the majesty that is this show. It's so low rent. But I'm glad I've been able to talk to all these people and make lasting impressions, and not everybody's famous, and not everybody wants to be famous. Are you kidding me? Melissa Roxburgh has a different career from Gabe Malika, and it's great. Jennifer Irwin has a different career from Jim Twos. Fabrizio Campano has a different career from Ben Katzner. It's fantastic. These people are good at what they do, and that's why I want to talk to them. Now, believe you me, I did reach out to. I do want to talk about some people I did reach out to. I reached out to Michelle Obama before. I reached out to John Ossoff. At one point, the PR team for the movie Shadow Force, is that what it's called? Shadow Force. That's what that movie was called. The PR team for Shadow Force, starring Kerry Washington, and featuring the likes of Method Man and Davine Joy Randolph. They reached out, and I said I would love an interview. And the PR team said, "This is great. We'll make sure this happens." And I got like oh my God, yes, we would love it. And then the email that followed up so soon, is like way too soon, was I'm sorry, Chad, but they unfortunately don't want to do this. That's not what they said, but it was more or less in those words. They did say, "I'm so sorry," but they hold on, let me read the email, because I would love to get it. This is why I never delete emails. Let's see. Shadow Force. Why reach out to me? Don't reach out to me. Oh, we went through 7 emails. Oh my God. They asked me for so much information. Press junket. That was the word I was looking for. The phrase I was looking for earlier. They asked me for so much information, and I gave them, I think last year I made a docket, a PDF document for interviews for C Plus Comedy, and am I going to show it? It's an interview pitch deck. Hold on, Adobe Acrobat is opening up. It's an interview pitch deck for C Plus Comedy that I send when I ask for when I ask for interviews. I said I was going to end this episode, and I have yet to do it. Hold on, let me show. I want to share this. Okay, I'm not going to share the pitch document because I do think it's a little sensitive, but information sensitive. But the docket is basically, it's the name of the company, C Plus Comedy, and then established 2013, interviews, podcasts, and more. And then I have like physical links, because it is, again, a PDF that you can go to website, YouTube, and then the interviews itself. The logo's up there in the top corner, and then I just give a very short description about C Plus Comedy, and then I give a show description about the interviews, and then I give the past guests, and I, quite frankly, I put the biggest guests on there: Craig Ferguson, Janelle James, Kurt Fuller, Rose Matafeo, Jane Seymour, Jimmy Pardo. I put the biggest names up there. Unfortunately, to the smaller people, no offense. There's a lot of other names too. And then I have a timeline of the podcast, which is like I just basically says, these are the 2 releases you get. You get an audio release and you get a video release, and what that entails. So that's my pitch deck, C Plus Comedy interview pitch deck. And that is, this Shadow Force debacle is the reason why I created this pitch deck. That was March 28th, 2025. Okay. Anyway, they asked me for so much information, and then I gave it to them. I mean, it is ridiculous how much information I was asked for. And I truly did everything I possibly could. I cannot show you what I wrote, but I gave them literally all the information. As well as, at that time, the latest interview from the biggest person I'd done, which was Matthew Broussard. And then they were like, yeah, this is great information. Oh my gosh. Unfortunately, we will not have talent available for interviews. Hope to work with you in the next title. I know who this person is. The person who responded was not the person I was talking to before. And I know this person. Not personally, but we have crossed paths multiple times before and since. I wonder if they're still with that company. I don't know. Anyway, that's it. That's C Plus Comedy. This has been 40 minutes. Wow. And I didn't talk about shit. But that's what it is, this anniversary episode. Before I have to go do yoga. But before I sat down to do this, I was thinking, do I do the linked stories that I put in there? Because there's only 2. And I went, I don't know if I do that. Just give the people what they want. Thank you for listening. Here's to another year. Here's to 13 more years. Here's to more interviews with people of all stars and stripes, of all creeds, of all places in the industry. I desperately try not to just say comedy, even though C Plus Comedy is the name. But you know, whatever. The skill of C Plus Comedy it's there. Okay, anyway. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate that. Share this with your friends. Do all that bullshit. If you like what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com where you can see me and all those the interviews with your favorite people. Helen Hong, Joe Firestone, all these celebrities, Larry the Cable Guy, Laura Gilmartin, Jimmy Pardo, Jermaine Fowler, Deala Riddle. Thank you so much for everybody for listening. Thank you so much for all the people joining. Watch all the podcasts and the interviews on youtube.com/cpluscomedy. Follow us on social media at cpluscomedy on YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok. Me on those platforms at Chad Black White. Okay, goodbye.